Teachers, it's Lindsay Perot, and I'm going to take you through this special edition digital Valentine escape. This escape is just a template, so you're going to be responsible for putting in all of the questions, the answer choices, and your code. So it might sound a little bit overwhelming, but it's something that should be fun for you to do, and once you get it done, then you have it for year after year. So this first slide is just the challenge. If you would prefer the challenge to say something different than what I have right here, all you have to do is grab a square. You can cover it up. Just fill it white, outline it white, and then you can type in or handwrite in or even insert a video of you talking right here and make the challenge be whatever you'd like it to be. Over here, this next one is to keep track of the codes. With my other escapes, I have dashed lines so students know whether it's a word code, numerical, 3 digits, 4 digits. But here, they're just solid lines because every one of you is going to come up with something different. Challenge A. This is a drag and drop strip type challenge. This is one that if you've done my paper challenges, you know very well. So this one has 8 problems. You will type or insert your problem here. Don't forget to type what the skill is. If this is just something where they solve the problem, then you don't really need to change these directions, except here it's written in for exponents. So make sure you read these directions carefully and you change them to suit your students. So I'm going to give you an example here. We're going to do really simple problems. So we'll say 5 plus 2. You'll type in all of your problems down here. The answer, just leave it alone because this is where your students will type the answer. So let's say, okay, 5 plus 2 is 7. I will have a text box here for you. The students will type in 7, and this is all going to be grouped together. And again, I'll make sure all this is grouped for you. But what you need to do first is, so let me take this out first. I'm going to back up. First, you need to decide what you want your code to be. You don't need to use all of these X's at all, but what you do need to do first is rearrange these. So obviously you don't want them to go in order, so we will rearrange everything here. For some reason these didn't stick. Oh, also make sure you type your skill there. Sorry about that. Okay, well, we'll leave A there because it wants to be fussy, but I'll make sure it works for you guys. So you'll rearrange your strips. So let's say this is the order that I want them to be in. And it really doesn't matter just as long as they're not in ABC order. And then you'll type in your code. So if you're doing word codes, you can just, your students are going to read straight across. So you'll want to type in your code like this. The code for this challenge is, or that you found is, or whatever. But you need to be able to type it in going across this way. So once they arrange their strips in order, they'll be able to read the code. Now, here's where the order part comes in. So they're going to answer all these questions, and if they're basic addition, then let's say all of their answers are here, then they'll rearrange them from least to greatest based on the answers. So they would have come over here, they would have typed their answers on here in the answer box, and then they would have arranged them from least to greatest or greatest to least. And then once they arrange them, then their code will be revealed. So with all of these challenges, I recommend working backwards. Go ahead and get all of your answers in here first. Once you get it rearranged like this, get all of your answers in, type the code, then work backwards. You can come to this slide and you can actually type in the answers just so you know what is what, so you're not getting confused. And again, I'm just doing this now just to show you, but type them in and then add in your problems. You have hint cards. You can either type here, you can insert videos, audio, anything you want, or just delete. All right, challenge B. This is a one where they are going to cut these squares from this slide and paste them over here. So again, I'm just going to do 5 plus 2 again, or 3. and the answer is going to be 8, and I want this number to be a 3. Okay, so what students are going to do is they're going to cut this. It's all going to be, again, it's all going to be put together, grouped, and then they'll paste it over here, and it'll be solid, it'll paste on top. So once they get everything pasted on top, it'll look like this. Now their code directions, there'll be digits in the bottom here. You can change them to be whatever you want them to be. And then again, their code directions, you can have them just simply add up all of the digits. That can be their code. The letters can stand for numbers. It can really be as simple or as difficult as you want it to be. But you type the code directions here. And then same thing, I recommend working backwards, at least with these digits here, so you know what your numbers are going to add up to. Okay, challenge C. This one is a little bit more difficult. So they're going to have the spinner. You're going to type in the problems and the answers, and students are going to spin the spinner and match up the problems and answers. So this is what their spinner will look like. You're going to type your problems going around the outer ring. Don't type your answers just in the same order because you want them to have to spin. So if I type my 5 plus 2 here, my answer, which is 7, might not be for over here. So then students will spin, they'll line up their answers, and they won't actually have to do the spinning, they could just look. And then, okay, the outer ring is 3, the inner ring is 4. So I'll write the problem that I had to do was 5 plus 2 equals 7. The outer ring I said was 3. Oh, I'm sorry. The outer ring was 3 and the inner circle was 4. And then the directions that I had on here was then define the sum and divide by 2. The sum of this and this, so it would be 7, divide by 2, which would be 3.5. Obviously, you can change this. You can just leave it as sum. You can delete this whole column if you'd like. Just delete column, and then the sum would be their final answer. It's really up to you. So type in your problems first, then figure out what you want the matches to be, and then type in your answers. And again, just don't go around for each of them because then that makes it a little bit too easy for your students. But this is all grouped, so once you not that part, you can slide this off and turn it, and it might be a little bit easier to work with that way. All right, last one is a puzzle. Again, same thing with all of these. Type your skill, type your code directions, type your directions, and then here's your actual puzzle. So you definitely want to arrange this first. So you want to get all these, oops, this is grouped, which is what it's supposed to be. You want to get all these out of the way and go ahead and arrange these in the order that you want them to be in first. So when your students solve, this is what you want it to look like. And you're going to decide that based on what your code's going to be. So are they going to have to find the sum of each row? Are they going to have to do something diagonal with these numbers, straight down? So get them organized first, and then you can type in your answers and your distractors and stuff. Now, if you use the way I already have it set up, like this, I have optional distractors all around the edges. You can, if you don't want to do this distractor, all you have to do is delete it. And what that does is it makes the puzzle a little bit more simple for your students. But once you have it set up, then you go ahead and you type your question, and your answer will be the one that matches right across the line here. And then you mix these up. Make sure you mix them up before giving them to students. And then what students do, they're going to have these all mixed up here. They're going to cut and they're going to paste, and then they're going to build the puzzle over here. And then they'll look for their code directions and figure out what their code is going to be. And there will be text boxes added in here so students can type the code. And you can change this if you'd like, but this is very flexible. Again, there is a learning curve involved here. Once you make a challenge, you may want to send it to a teacher friend or someone at home just to see, have another set of eyes to see if they maybe can make sure that they can do it. And then again, yeah, once you get these made, then make a copy and save it forever. And it'll be a lot easier come next Valentine's Day when you can just pull it out of your digital files.